Welcome in, Raez of Love. I am Soulliaa Rae, and as y'all know, all March long, it's been Women's Herstory Month, where we celebrate and honor women internationally, ourselves, our family members, our mothers, our sisters, our aunties. And this month I had the privilege of conducting what I love to call Herstory chats with some women that I love. And so this is just the introduction to a few conversations that I've been able to have this month, and creating space also for myself to share bits and pieces of my story, because I feel like I don't do that so often. And this month I've been leaning into and falling back in love with myself and the story that has been written and is still being written. And so I hope you guys enjoy hearing these stories as much as I did hearing them. Here we go.
Hi, Raez of Love. My name is Kennedy, and I'm the first guest on the Herstory month. So this is podcast episode 1. A little bit about myself. If I had to narrow myself down into 4 or 5 facts, I would say I am above all a believer. Second, I would say an avid traveler. Third, I would say a sports phenom. Fourth, probably, I think my lovely cousin Leah here, who all of you know, a trap music lover, a lover of trap music, especially like trap music from the South. And fifth, I would say a patron of the arts, especially fashion.
Okay, yes, I like the way you said that. Go ahead.
And why I love being a woman is because I think women are the most powerful force in the entire universe, aside from, of course, you know, our Lord and Savior and everyone that lives above. But I think besides that, I think I love being a woman because I just think we hold an immense power. And that's just something that I love about being a woman. I think I had a very emotionally tumultuous, I think is like a good word to say, 2020 and 2021. And so I think what overall that really taught me was to move into the new year with no expectation, but in the best way possible. So I think I spent the beginning of this year just like, I took a lot more time to myself. And I spent the whole January like spending a lot of time with myself, spending a lot of time at home, like feeling like I was preparing in really small ways to take on this new year. But I think in the past, I'm definitely like a goal-driven person. So I was always I'm gonna do this by the time I'm 21, I'm gonna do this by the time I'm 25, by the time I'm 30, I'm gonna have this. So I was definitely mapped everything out. And I think just living through a global pandemic taught me that that's not really a thing. So I think this year I'm just moving without expectation, but with the expectation that everything that happens is what's supposed to happen.
I like that. I think that is a very like gracious place to be in.
I think I really leaned into that when you make plans, God laughs saying, which sounds always very cliche. Yeah. I don't know if he's laughing, but I think he's like, I don't know about that.
Clearly, I don't know about that. Go ahead. Sis, am I you or you me? Like, right. I don't know. Grapes are fire, bro. No cap.
Are they good?
I'm like, can I just get a cup of grapes?
I know they're frozen. They're cotton candy. If y'all haven't tried them, there are these things called cotton candy grapes, and they only grow like 6 months out of the year. It's the only time that you can get them. So I like stock up on them, and I freeze them and use them in wine. But they're also like, if you like sweet stuff, but you also want something a little more healthy. I'm sure they do have a lot of sugar, but it's natural sugar. They're cotton candy grapes, and you can get them at Target.
Are they genetically engineered though, is the question.
They could be. You can get them at Target, Trader Joe's, and Whole Foods are the 3 places that I've seen them. Okay. But they're really good.
They're fire, bro. I really felt like when you said they were
you cleared them.
I was, why you have been talking, bro. I literally been eating them grapes like, oh, these are delicious.
And they're like a little less sweet because they've been like frozen now.
Bro, whatever wine you gave me was so good. Like,
this is a favorite of mine. I guess maybe
tell us about it.
Add in some visuals or something, but this is the Charles Shaw blend from Trader Joe's. It's like the famous Trader Joe's. They used to be $2. I think they're up to like $3.50 or $4, but it's still a really good deal. And this is the Sauvignon Blanc.
Give us the tips, honey. We need them all.
Yeah, I think Trader Joe's has a really, really good wine selection for decent prices. I think they have majority of bottles for like under $10. But the Charles Shaw is normally what I go for. And occasionally I'll try like some other ones. But I'm a big like wine person, so.
One thing you've learned from like being an avid traveler?
One thing I've learned, that's a good question. I think I've learned to like prioritize your passions. I think I always kind of felt like I've had this feeling always in life, especially when I was younger, of like, oh wow, like I'm not really good at anything, like, but because I feel like all of the things that people generally are praised for being good at, I wasn't good at. Like, I'm not that great of like, I can't sing, I can't dance. I'm trying to think of other things. I don't play sports. So I kind of feel like all of my talents in a way, which I don't know if everyone who knows me would think this, but I feel like my talents in a lot of ways are very like unconventional, like the things that I really feel like I'm talented at. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of like fighting with that, like I don't have this thing about me, or that feeling that I don't have this thing about me where if someone looked at me, they'd be like, oh, she's such a great XYZ. Mm-hmm. But I think I really had to lean into the, you know, she's such a great friend. She's like very organized. She's very, she's someone who always sees things through. She's someone who, you know, like the things that I love, I don't think people generally look at as like talents, but I think they are. And so it's kind of like reframing that in your mind to make yourself understand like you are talented and God gives everyone talents, and just because they're not easily physically expressed doesn't mean that you're not talented. I think today something that, shout out to two of my best friends, Cam and Asia, if y'all are listening to this, I love y'all. I had a conversation with them today, and we just like talk all day every day about different like scenarios, and we just like run things by each other before we do stuff. So I'm really grateful for the two of them. But one thing we send each other like videos and tweets and TikToks, and one of the TikToks that we sent today was like your strength and weakness on vacation. So this is kind of like travel and friendship all in one. And it was like a video that this dude did of all of his friends and like their strength and weakness on when they go on vacation together. And both of them were like, oh, we already know what your strength is. Like, you're the best at this. And they're like, planning a trip, like, if you're planning a trip, I'm going. And I was like, that just made me feel like really good, but I'm very like methodical about it. Like, I have a Google Doc. I tell everybody like, be ready to do this at 9 a.m. and like, we're going here. And I have like the transportation plan, and I put like a note of like,
period, bro, we need that. We need you.
Right. Think of something like, if we're going here, like you should dress like XYZ, you know, all of the questions that people would have. I'm grateful for friends like you and them and people who really like affirm those things in me. Cause I kind of used to just, I feel like the original framing of them for most of my life was just like, oh, you're prissy, like you're this, you're that, you're, you know, but it's like, I had to think, yeah, maybe I am, but that's also something that not everybody is. So I'm going to consider it a talent as long as it's positive.
Yeah, I feel that. I think that's a good place to be in, like accepting the things that exist naturally, and not that it's not with little effort, but it's like with an anointed, like gifted effort. Like it doesn't feel hard to do this. It's very easy for me to have my brain think of this in this way. And so I'm going to lean into that. Like, I think that is a great place to be, because
I think that's such a good thing about the new kind of like, there's pros and cons obviously to the new culture that we live in, but I think one of the things is I think we're really affirming people. Like I do like TikTok and Instagram and stuff, and I follow girls who are all into the same stuff that I'm in. Like they love interior design, they love fashion, they love planning, like they get really excited about organizing and they're really good at this. And I'm like, these are talents, these are things that not everybody can do, and these are things that people look for advice on how to do on these platforms.
Help us, please.
And I credit that a lot to my mom. She's a very like talented interior designer.
She is fire for sure.
And so I was able to look to her to see like, oh, okay, like I really love fashion. I don't know if I've said that. Maybe I've mentioned it once or twice, but like the excitement to me of like putting something together, even if it's not for myself, if it's for someone else, and like, I don't know, I think it's a really important way to express creativity, because when I tell you fashion and interior design, that's all I got for y'all.
Yeah, period. And that's what we need, honey. That's what we need.
That was a big conversation I think I had with my friends when we started talking about our goals for this year.
Okay, talk to me.
I saw this chart where it was kind of intersecting all of these big like feelings and ideas into two, and it was like, you can be this but also this. And I think the one that I resonated with, I really wish I could find the chart, I probably can, but the one that resonated with me the most for 2022 was like, you can be strong and vulnerable at the same time. So yeah, that's what I'm focusing on in this new year, and it's new for me, so I'm
being strong and vulnerable. Do you feel like in the past you've been more stronger than vulnerable, or do you feel like it's, talk to me about that?
Yeah, I think just like recognizing the role I play in a lot of relationships in my life, it's definitely, I think, the strength and like rationale and all of those things that feel very level-headed. Not that we put too much emphasis on like astrology, but I am a Scorpio, so on the cusp of Scorpio and Libra. So Scorpios are like very passionate, but Libras are very balanced. And so I kind of live in the intersection of that. And so yeah, I think that this year I'm really attempting to learn where the strength and vulnerability lies. And I think in this first, what are we at, like 34 days in the new year?
Something like that. Math don't always math for me.
Yeah, like I don't even know what it is.
Hello, they run together so hard.
I have
time is eternal. I'm sorry.
It is.
Go ahead.
It is.
Really
I've kind of been working on that. So I've been sharing a little bit more, and I've been I think that's kind of the first step for me, is just like sharing a little bit more, and it's been really nice. I think it's been very well received from the people around me.